Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll show you how to make a beautiful Igbo blouse. It's going to be a shoulder blouse. So guys, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell icon to be notified anytime I upload a new video. Now for the items, I'll be using a lace fabric. I will use this bridal satin for it. And as well, I'll be combining it with scuba fabric. Of course, you need a matching thread. I'll be using this trimmings design, flower design for it, and a zipper. So guys, let's get started immediately. Now I'll cut it first on my bridal satin before I transfer it to the lace fabric. I'll cut it here first. So I'll have to fold my fabric. I'll fold it like so. Now the widest part of my measurement is the hips, which is 39 inches divided into 4 will give me 9.8, and I will add extra 4.5 inches, which will give me 14.3 inches. So I will check this width will be okay for me. So I'll put a line. Now the length of the blouse is 25 inches, and I'll go ahead and add extra 1 inch, making it 26 inches. Now I'll connect the lines. Remember, I say it's a shoulder blouse, it's not off shoulder. So our measurement will start from the shoulder to the down part. So the next thing I will mark will be firstly, my shoulder measurement is 16 inches divided into 2 will give me 8 inches plus half inch. That is 8.5 inches. This 8.5 inches. And I'll go ahead and mark 9 inches for my armhole. And I'll still put the 8.5 here. Then I'll join the lines. Now my bust point is 10.5 inches. So I'll mark 10.5 inches across. The next measurement I'm taking will be my under bust, which is 13.5 inches. This 13.5. Then my waist measurement 17 inches. Then I'll connect the lines. Okay, this is the basic measurement that I need for this blouse. Now my bust measurement is 37 inches divided into 4 will give me 9.2 inches. So I'll take this 9.2. I'll go ahead and add extra 4.5 inches. Then the next thing I'll take from the waist, I'm not taking from the under bust. From the waistline, I have my round waist measurement 32 inches divided into 4 will give me 8 inches. This 8 inches, and I'll add extra 4 inches to it because it's a padded. It's a bust here, that's why I'm adding all these extra inches. Then my hip measurement is 39 divided into 4 will give me 9.8 inches. This is 9.8 inches, and I'll still add 4.5 inches here. Then I'll connect the lines. Then my bust to bust measurement is 7 inches. Divided into 2 will give me 3.5 inches. I'll go ahead and add extra half inch for the seam allowance, making it 4 inches. So I'll mark 4 inches from the shoulder to the down part. Then I'll connect the lines. Okay, this is my bust point here. This is my under bust, and this is my waist measurement. From this shoulder side, I'll remove half inch at this side and ½ inch at this side, at the middle side, that is from the shoulder side. From the under bust, I'll remove 1.5 inches at this armhole side, and at the middle side here I'll remove ½ inch. Then from the waistline I'll remove 1 inch here and ½ inch here. I'll take it down to this length, which is the down part of the blouse. I'll remove ½ inch here and ½ inch here. Then I'll connect the lines from this point to this point, to the bust point, then to the waistline. Then from the bust point, I don't want it to have a sharp point here. I'll just go up by 1.5 inches. Then I'll connect this point. You can make it 2 inches rather. Go up by 2 inches. Then from this point, I'll connect it to this shoulder dart. You can see. Then I'll curve out this place very well. Don't want it to have a sharp curve. Now the next thing we'll be doing is to mark 2 inches from the armhole upward here. Then at the shoulder here, I'll remove 1 inch for my shoulder slant, connect it to this point here. Then I'll measure the remaining length here. The remaining inches here is 8 inches, divided into 2 give me 4. From here, I'll come in by ½ inch. Then I'll go ahead and connect this point to this point and this point as well to this armhole. Okay, then from this edge here, I don't want it to have a sharp edge or straight edge. I'll minus 3 inches to make a curve at the down part. For the neckline in front, I'll use 6 inches so that by the time I'm done sewing, it will be 6.5 inches. So I'll curve it from here to this point now. Of course, it's a round neckline, you can see. So I'll go ahead and cut it out. I didn't cut exactly at this round neck, so that by the time I finish sewing, I can then shape it out for it not to shorten. So this is for the front. The next thing I'll do is to put a notch at this bust point here. This one is from the center one, and as well at the 2 sides. Then I'll spread it out for you to see. This is the 2 sides and this is the center. So this is for the front. Now this is for the back. I'll measure out the length, which is 26 inches. So this is the length. My shoulder measurement, which is 8.5. No, I'll first of all mark 1.5 inches as the zip allowance. Then I'll connect the lines. Okay, then I'll mark 8.5 inches as my shoulder measurement. Armhole 9 inches. I'll mark my shoulder slant 1 inch. Now I will mark my 4 inches that I'm using as my bust to bust. Remember, I put 3.5 points plus ½ an inch, making it 4 inches. I'll mark the 4 inch as well, 4 inches as well across, and connect the lines. Okay. Then from these 4 inches, I will take the slope. I will mark the slope, the shoulder slope as well. Then my bust point, which is 10.5 inches, and my waistline, which is 17 inches. This is the measurement I need for the back pieces. Okay, now my bust measurement is 37 divided into 4, 9.2 inches. I'll mark 9.2 inches here, and I'm having 2 inches as my allowance here. For the waistline, 32 divided into 4 will give me 8 inches here, plus extra 2 inches allowance. For my hip, 39 divided into 4 will give me 9.8 plus extra 2 inches allowance. So I'll connect the lines. Now for the dart, I'll remove ½ inch at the down part here at the right side, and ½ inch at the other end, which is the back middle. Then I'll connect it to this bust point here. The same thing I'll do here, ½ inch here and ½ inch here. Everything will be connected to the bust point. So I'll connect these lines together. Then at the upper side, the same thing, ½ inch at the right and ½ inch at the left. Then everything will be connected at the bust point. Okay, the neckline, it will have a round neckline at the upper side and another shaped round at the back here. So I will just remove 1.5 inches here to connect it to this point. Then at this point, I will measure out 5 inches. Now make an oval shape rather. The next thing is to connect my armhole. Then I'll go ahead and cut it out. Now I've gotten the back pieces as well. So this for the back pieces, you can see. So I will use this design to cut out from the lace fabric. I've cut out the front, the center front, and the two sides. This for the center front. This for the back pieces, I'll go ahead and cut it. So guys, I've cut out the lace fabric the same way I will place it to cut the lining. Now after cutting the lining, I'll remove the lining. From this bridal satin, I will use my gum stay. I will iron it with this. After ironing, I'll show you the next thing I'll be doing. Now for the bust here, I'll be using this wording. This is medium size, not the hard one. If you want the hard one, you can go ahead and use the hard one, but this is the medium one. I'll go ahead and cut out my bust here. Now I've cut out the padding for the bustier. You can see. I'll go ahead and secure it with my pin. But before then, so you can see, the next thing now will be the sleeve. Now the sleeve length, I want it to have a flay hand, double flay. So I'll be making the sleeve length 10 inches. This will be, I will make it 10.5 so that I will use half inch to join it. The 1 inch, sorry. I will make it 11 inches so that I will use 1 inch to join it both up and down, since something will be added at the down part. Now my round sleeve is 14 inches divided by 2 give me 7. Then I'll add half inch for the seam allowance. Then the down part will be 6 inches or 5.5 inches. Then from here I'll remove 3.5 inches. Then I'll curve it to this. I'll place it to cut the second one. I'll keep it aside. Okay. This 8 by 8 inches. I'll mark 1.5 round. Then I'll go ahead and measure out 7 inches round. With my pinking shear scissors, I will use it to cut it out. Now this is for the sleeve. The next step will be the sewing aspect of it. Now I've ironed it with my paper stay, and I went ahead to iron as well my lining with paper stay. So the next stage is to use my pin to attach the lace fabric to the bridal satin. Now I've fixed the lace fabric to the bridal satin. You can see it. I'll keep this one aside. The first thing I'll do is to join the front pieces together. This is the 3 front pieces. I'll place it like so. I'll sew through it. After sewing, before then, I'll make sure the notch parts rhyme. Look at the notch parts of this side. I have to match it with the notch side at the center. You can see. I'll make sure it rhymes together. I'll go ahead and use my pin and secure it before I sew to make sure that everything is aligned. The same thing to the other side. Okay, I've pinned it through. I'll go to my sewing machine now and sew through these 2 sides. After then, I'll show you the next thing I'll be doing. Now this is for the back pieces. I'll sew the darts. I'll place it together as well and join the darts together. The same thing to the 2 sides. Now I've pinned it through, I'll go ahead and join it. The same thing I did to the front and back, I'll do to the lining as well. For the lining, the same thing. Now I've joined the front pieces and the back pieces. This for the front, you can see, and these are the back pieces. The same thing to the lining. I've joined it together. Now I'll place the front and back pieces together. I'll be doing neat joining on it. So I'll use my pin to hold the shoulder together. I'll use half an inch to sew the 2 shoulder line. I'll sew through it. Then for the 2 sides, I'll close it up with 1.5 inch. Now after joining the shoulder, mark 1 inch. Then I'll connect the lines. Then I'll mark the same thing, 19.5 here, 16.5 for the waistline, and 18.5 for the bust measurement. So I've shaped it out. The same thing I do to the men blouse is the same thing I will do to the lining. I'll go ahead and pin it through as well. I'll trim off the excess on this side. The same thing to the second side. Our sweat shape it 1.5 for the bust. The same 1.5 to the waistline and 1 inch for the hips line. Make sure the zip line is being secured with safety pin for you to get the accurate measurement. I'll mark the same thing to this side, 1.5 here, 1.5 for the waist measurement, and 1 inch for the hips line. So guys, I'll go to my sewing machine now and sew through the same thing I do to my main blouse. I do it to the lining as well. So after sewing, I'll show you the next thing we'll be doing. Now I've joined both the main fabric, the main blouse and the lining together. I've joined it separately. I've shaped it out. So the next thing I will do, because the lining needs to be shorter than the main blouse, for it not to come out, I have to reduce the length by one inch. I'll go ahead, reduce the length of the lining, only the lining, by 1 inch. Can do it when cutting, can reduce yours as well to make sure that the lining does not show after sewing. So I'll go ahead and mark it and join the lines. Then I'll cut it out. Okay, I've actually reduced it. So I'll then open it up. This is the right side of the blouse, and the right side should face the right side of the lining as well. So I'll go ahead and use my pin to join it all through. Make sure the seam line of the lining and the blouse matches. You can see this is the shoulder line. I'll first of all sew the shoulder line first, the neckline. So guys, I will start from the neckline first. I will sew through with 1/2 inch. After sewing the neckline, the next one I'll be sewing will be the down part. So I'll first of all go and sew through the neckline. Then I'll show you the next thing to do. Now I've sewn round the neckline. You can see. After sewing the upper side, I went ahead to sew this down part. I first sew the neckline and I sew this down part. Before I close up the two sides, I have to fold it. You can see. Remember, I shortened the length of the lining. So I folded it by 1/4 inch. So I've closed it up. The next thing I'll do now is to notch this neckline. Then I turn it out from the armhole. I will notch it round to make the stitches to relax. Now I've notched it round from the armhole side. I'll then pull it out to the right side. Now you can see the back, very neat. The next thing I'll do is to iron it out before I top stitch. I'll be top stitching on the neckline to make sure the lining is not showing. But I'll first of all iron it very well. Now I'll top stitch from the shoulder line only at the front side. You can see I'll just stop stitch to make sure the lining is relaxed. After top stitching, the next thing will be the zipper. I will fix the zip then before the sleeve. Now I've fixed the zip. The last thing will be to fix the sleeve. I've already used my pin to secure it. You can see I've attached the circle side to the main part. So I'll go now and sew round at this round sleeve. After then I'll show you the finished part of it. So guys, after sewing, this is how it looks. This is the blouse, and I went ahead to use my needle and thread to tack the flower design on it. You can see this is the sleeve, and this is the back. So guys, I hope this video is helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Click on the bell icon to be notified anytime I upload a new video. Give it a thumbs up, share to your friends, and bye until I see my next video. Bye.